My name is Adolfo Bailon, city manager. I've been now city manager for 2.5 years. Here with us, we've got several members of the team from different departments, different divisions. So why don't we let them introduce themselves, since you may have questions after the presentation about their work. So I'll start with them.
Hi, I'm Daniel Robin. I'm the Deputy Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Services Director, and I'm in the city for just over 3 years.
I'm Bodu. I'm the Recreation Manager, oversee the Recreation Division of the Parks, Recreation, Cultural Services Department. With Daniel, been in the role for about 2 years now, but been in the city for cumulative 14 years.
Hi, my name is Emma Nielsen. I'm the Administrative Assistant for both Economic Development and Human Services. I've been here for a little over a month.
I'm Anya Zupancic. I'm the Human Services Manager. I've been here for 2.5 years.
And I'm Chris Craig, Economic Development Manager with the city.
Hey everybody, my name is Devin Chikris. I'm the city's Communications and Public Engagement Manager. This is my 5th year with the city.
And online we have Casey Headley. We can't see Casey, so we can't see you. Sorry, Casey. But would you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Casey Headley. I started in December, on December 2nd, and I'm the Finance Director for the City of Burien.
So we've got a full team, different departments, different divisions available to answer questions if you have any at the end. But before we get started, we'd like to introduce our mayor who is joining us today. Mayor, if you'd like to kick us off and get us started.
Yeah, just say a few words. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming to express your interest in running for city council. And I'm happy that the staff can be here to explain to you what the City of Burien does, why we do things, how we do things. The awesome team we have here. I mean, there's people here who've been here for just 1 month, and there's people here who've been here for 14 years, and we have a great team for our entire operations of the city. Now, the city council is a little bit different, and I'm glad you're coming to see the City101, because the city council works together to finalize a budget, prepare ordinances, works with the staff in our council manager form of government. So while I'm the mayor, I'm not elected citywide, because we operate on a council manager form, which basically means the city council is like a board of directors, and we approve, adjust, deny, change, move forward on things that the city manager and the team have brought with us and worked on collaboration with us. So we operate on that way. The majority of cities across the country operate on a council manager form of government. It's just one way to run a city government. There are some cities in Washington that have a fully elected mayor, but some that don't, which are surprising. Like Bellevue also operates on a council manager form of government. I'm just excited to be here to see that a lot of folks have expressed interest in running, or potentially being candidates for city council, or just coming to look at the City101. So thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Anyone on the staff want to share anything before we have introductions from our audience?
Thank you for being here. This is one of the city's 4 main strategic directions, is to really be more accountable to community and have folks come in and be able to learn more about the city so that we can work more effectively together, whatever your role might end up being. And so this is really special to have folks be able to come in here and have this kind of conversation. So thank you for making the time. That's it.
Good stuff. Thank you.
We could go around the table, just as basic as you would like, or as long as you would like, as long within like 2 minutes. Why don't we start with Bailon?
Hi, welcome to Video Pekin. Been in Burien 7 years. I live in Seahurst. Interested in government. My day job, I work for King County Metro as customer relationship manager. So I work with that businesses.
I'm Karen Valoria. Right now, I'm a member of the Burien Airport Committee. I've lived in Burien. Actually, I lived in North Highline for a while before we became Burien, and I've lived here for over 20 years. My kids have gone to school here, and I'm interested in. I'm just here to see what it. I'm just curious.
Kids.
I'm Cameron Bozeman. I've lived in the greater Seattle area for about 9 years now, and Burien specifically for about 6. I have a young daughter who's now about to start in our public school system here. She actually goes to preschool in the Highline School District. And my day job, I actually work for King County Metro too. I work in our training department.
I work for King County Public Health, so.
There's a commonality.
Hey everyone, my name is Juan. I've been in Burien and lived in Burien for the past 11 years, coming from back from India, so I moved here from there and that's the year since then. For my day job, I work at the SeaTac Airport, and as one of the accounts manager. But you have to talk with here. I'm more curious about it than anything else, and just learn, see what it takes to be a city council. But yeah, just happy to be here. Yeah.
I'm Marie. I am on the Human Services and Parks and Rec, Human Services Commission and Parks and Rec Board. Been a resident of Burien 16 years now. I have to think about that. And also very caring. So I have found a new heart to serve my community.
Hi everybody, I'm Sam Mendez. I've lived here in Burien for 4.5 years now. Live here in Seahurst, just a few blocks from Rocco, with my wife, 2 dogs, and our 2.5-year-old. He goes to childcare. We walk him back and forth from childcare here. I do not work for the county. I work for the State Healthcare Authority. I've been an attorney for 10 years. I've been there for 5 years, so I know a lot of privacy and HIPAA compliance and all that stuff. Yeah, I've been very involved in party politics. So I was vice chair of the 33rd District Democrats for 2 years. Now I'm still on the board, but kind of more of a backseat position. And yeah, thinking about city council. I see you, Dawn.
Cool. Thank you all very much for coming. It's one of the challenges that we've had, that every city has, not just Burien, but every city has a challenge with encouraging its residents to participate in government, be a part of committees, commissions, and especially difficult in finding folks to run for council. It's a lot of time, and there are challenges that exist in all levels, from the commissions to advisory boards to the council. And we also understand that the challenge, a lot of it spurs from personal lives. You have children, you have family issues at home, you just have work. By the time you get home, the last thing some people want to do is go to a meeting for 3 hours or listen about other things. So thank you very much for your interest, and thank you for being a part of this process. City101, this is just our introduction to city government. We have this in different forms. We have some internal version of this where we share with folks when we introduce them to working for Burien as they become members of the team. We also have one that we share with the community as we try to get them more involved in government in general. This is very government focused only. This is all government, this is departments, this is how we operate. So we hope that you have at the very least a good introduction to the city, and if you have questions, we have members of the team here to answer questions. We also understand that many questions revolve around the need for more services, the need for more, which is why Casey, our finance director, is online to join us so she can answer questions specifically related to funding. What you will learn today, how the city is organized, how the elected officials are elected and who they are, what does each department do throughout the city, how are decisions made, and how can you become more engaged, and also specifically how you can get others to become more engaged. So we really want to make sure that you leave with a good understanding of what we are, the city, what we really encompass, which is everything that we do, and then also to whom we report, which is the people of Burien. Okay, some of this is going to be kind of very general. Please bear with us. I'll share a little bit about these next 2 slides. When I lived in California for over a decade, I worked for a U.S. Senator, and during that time I met with a lot of council members, and I met with a lot of folks in my community. And during those times I also answered questions of, well, we have 2 U.S. Senators, how do they split up the state? Do they split it up right down the middle? How does that work? And that is one of the reasons why we have these very general introduction slides, because we don't want to assume that everybody has the same common knowledge of government. So we want to make sure everyone has the knowledge, and then we can all operate on that same basic knowledge. So this slide kind of points out where Washington is, we're in the Pacific Northwest, and how we can potentially vary from other states, but that's where we are, top left corner. Next slide just gives you a general introduction of our federal delegation and also our elected folks in the White House. Jumping into our federal delegation with whom we work with very regularly and closely. We have Senator Cantwell, we have Senator Murray, who have been very good to Burien. They've helped us out incredibly over the years on different projects and different financing. And then also we have Representative Jayapal, who's also been very good to us. We work with her very closely on obtaining information from her. We share information with her, and on just general funding overall when we have projects that require federal funding. Here's a general breakdown of Burien as it pertains to the state. Our governor is Governor Ferguson. Just above us is the 34th Legislative District, which has Senator Alvarado, fairly new to her position as a senator, but has been a representative for many years. We have very new to her position, Representative Thomas, and then also one of the leaders in the state legislature, Representative Fitzgibbon. We have a portion of Burien that is covered within the 34th Legislative District. It's the northernmost part of the city of Burien. The majority of Burien itself, including Normandy Park, SeaTac, and others, falls within the 33rd Legislative District, which is represented by Senator Orwell, Representative Obras, and Representative Gregerson. We work with all of our representatives depending on the issue. We try to essentially work with each other because we know that we have to work with each other to improve the city as a whole. Again, specifically where Burien lies, we are on the west coast of, or the west side of King County, on the west side of the state, so wanted to share specifically where Burien lies. The King County Council District is broken up into a variety of different districts. We, Burien, fall under Council District 8, and our representative is Councilmember Teresa Mosqueda. We work with her closely on any number of different issues. So here's Councilmember Mosqueda. And now we're going to get specifically into how Burien is organized. The Burien community we've covered. Mayor spoke briefly about how council operates with staff. So we have the city council component, we have the city manager's component, and then we also have the city departments. More about the operations in general. The city council component, we have 7 positions that are elected for 4-year terms. The council adopts policies and rules that really govern how we move. Some of those things include strategic plans that we work on, the budget that we work on every 2 years, and every year we also have a review of the budget and we make changes as we need to make changes or as they have to be made to recognize more revenues. Council approves the city budget and large contracts. All city council meetings are open to the public to join and share comments. And here are our council members. We have Mayor on the left, Deputy Mayor, Sarah Moore, and we have our council members further down. A little bit about the government that manages Burien. Burien operates on what the mayor mentioned, and what we have is the council manager form of government. The mayor is elected by the city council for a 2-year term. So the mayor made the distinction between what's referred to as a city council, city manager form of government, and a strong mayor form of government. In the Burien council form of government, the council manager form of government, the mayor is elected by the leaders of the city. So the council themselves decide who will lead that body, who will lead that group. And then that person, as elected mayor, then serves as the spokesperson and the person responsible for the body of the council as a spokesperson. So that is the distinction. The difference from other cities, the mayor is elected by residents. We've discussed that. Then we also have the deputy mayor serves for 1-year term and is also elected by the council body. So the council body itself chooses its representatives. A little description about how laws are made in Burien. Very specifically, issues and laws are proposed, and they're proposed in any different way. We have council members that are elected because they want to do something within their community, within their neighborhoods, and they come with plans for how to do things. Also, we have residents that speak to elected officials. They send email messages, they attend council meetings, public comment, any number of ways that, there are a number of ways in which residents and council members can propose or start the process for creating a law. The next step is council discussion. They discuss the issue, they decide if they need more research, they decide if they want to take action, and then the public is heard, there's public comment. The next step, if there is need to move forward, there is research that is requested by staff. Well, the process that we have now is if a council member wants something, if they want to propose action, if they want to take action, or want staff to do something, it's difficult to have one member of council tell us to do something because we all work for the council body. We work for at least 4 members of council. So in that process, council members are encouraged to really work together to decide what's important for them as a group, and to then direct staff. The process we have is very inclusive to any council member. Any one council member can then go to council as a group, and under what's called the planning calendar component at the end of the meeting, they can say, look, I've got an interest in this topic, I have an idea of what I'd like to research, and the council body is very generally open. They will say, yep, yeah, we agree, meet with staff, meet with the city manager. I will then pull in folk to meet with that specific council member. Many times, that person's interest can just be solved by tweaks and changes in the way we operate. You don't need a law, you don't need anything else. So we try to work with every single council member on their specific interests to help them become very effective in their community. If it's something that does require further action from council, we will give them the information they need. We can then also work on presentations to the council body, and then the council body can then decide. So that brings us to the second row. Council discussion, they discuss more, they discuss what the council member learned in meeting with us, and then they discuss whether or not more action is needed. And again, public comment is accepted. If we need something more like community engagement, if we're going to change something within the city, different parking arrangements or changings of law that are going to affect entire neighborhoods, we do community engagement. We have actual big meetings downstairs where we invite the public. Very recently we had what was called Shape Your City, which we had for almost a year. We were encouraging people to come in at different times of the year. We tabled in Boulevard Park at different events. We tabled here at the farmers markets. We essentially asked, and in many cases we begged people to give us information because we wanted to make a community-focused decision. And then when we have that information, we bring it back to council, and then council discusses again, and then more public comment is accepted. And then lastly, we have council reviews any possible ordinances, any changes in law, and then if council wants to adopt it, or if they want changes, they can make changes. If they want to adopt it, then the law is created. These steps, there's several steps. I will share with you that governments are not made to operate very quickly. And that is a check and a balance. It's meant to operate at the pace it operates because everyone has a voice in the community. We try to hear everyone's voice. It's not a matter of quickly jumping from one thing to another because we need to hear from everyone, and that's the process. There are instances where there is an emergency, there's either a declared emergency or a natural disaster. In those cases, yes, we actually have to operate quickly. It's a matter of public safety, and we move quickly. But as you can see, the process here, the process in King County, the process in Olympia, the process in the federal government. Government is meant to move slowly because it's meant to listen to everyone's perspectives. Older photo, shorter hair, but still a good one. This is a slide that we have for the city manager's department and just the form of government we have. The council hires the city manager, so the city council approves hiring, go through a process. Typically in all cities, they go through a consultant. The consultant vets applicants, they bring them in. Interviews can be private. In Burien, they were public, and in many places they're public, and they're available online for people to see. They're certainly available here in Burien for people to see. The position is typically filled by somebody who's trained in operations of government. You have to have the education and the training for it. Implements the city council's policies through the budget. So we have a strategic plan that the council creates. It creates a vision for the city. It's the city manager's job to essentially work with the council body to implement its vision throughout the city. And the vision, again, it's implemented through the budget. If resources are limited, we implement the council's vision based on the limited resources that are available. So it's a balance. We know that not just in Burien, but in every city throughout the country, the needs outweigh the resources that are available. And so there's that constant balance of where can we be equitable in our distribution of funds? Where can we put more money? Where do we take from if we put more money in one place? It's always thinking made of like buckets and water. Where do we put more water when we need it? Where do we take it away when we don't need it there but need it somewhere else? And that's the balance. That's really the balance. One of the things that we've seen online and the city managers when we have meetings throughout the country think about is we've all seen online the person spinning plates. You know, you've got like 10 different plates and you're spinning them. You want to make sure they don't fall. that's government work. That's council, that's my position, that's our department directors, that's essentially what we do. We spin the plates. And then decisions have to be approved by the council depending on if it's policy-based, we go to the council. If it's strictly operations, I manage operations and I work with our department directors to manage operations. Now we're going to hear about our city departments and the breakdown in our departments. Here's a very busy slide, so we'll walk you through it. We have the key at the top, from left to right. We have residents, elected officials in blue, Navy, we have departments, divisions, and external agencies. So that's just kind of the key for everything. But I want to point out that we have a big box around advisory boards and commissions and Burien residents. That's for whom we work. They are our target population. They are 55,000 strong, and they vocalize what it is that they need depending on their neighborhood, depending on where they are. So Burien residents and advisory boards and commissions, which is made up by Burien residents, essentially are our experts, and they are the folks for whom we work on a daily basis. And from that pool come our Burien council members, also residents. Many have served on different advisory boards and commissions from time to time. And from the Burien City Council component, you see that I work for the council. Also on the left, you see that we have the private contracts that we have. We have Puget Sound Energy, we have Ecology, and we have our animal control through Cares of Burien. We have a few more other partners in our community that spill over into this direction. We have the Burien Police Department that is our contract with the King County Sheriff's Office. We work with the King County Council. Also operating in Burien is the Fire Commission. We have King County Fire Number 2. We have Seattle City Light, which provides energy to Burien. We have 3 specific sewer districts. It depends on the breakdown of the city of where the sewer districts lie. We also have 4 water districts. It really depends on where people live within the city. We have all of those maps on the city website, so if somebody wanted to know who is my sewer water district, you can just type in on the city website, sewer district map, and your map will pop up right on the screen. And then here are all the departments that I work with on a daily basis, that also work with me so that we can work on behalf of the residents and the council. Economic development, specifically under the city manager department and human services. We have community development department with, they are broken down into 2 specific groups, planning and building. Our planners are the folks that essentially help to create the comp plan, they help to create the featured period, and they help to help us all understand what the zoning codes are for where things can be built. The building department are the folks that go out when things are already being built and see if they're being built to code. So we have 2 different departments, 2 different divisions within community development. We have the finance department, we have parks and recreation, cultural services, we have administrative services that also has multiple divisions underneath the city clerk. Information systems, which is essentially our technology division, computers and online security, human resources and communications and public engagement. We have our legal department, and then public works, which is also split up into engineering and maintenance, 2 different divisions. Before I move on, any questions about all the? No?
How many staff total work for Burien?
We have roughly on and off. Come on in. We have roughly on and off about 120 full-time employees. I know that seems like a lot, but we have almost 12 square miles of city in Burien. It's a very large area. 53,000 in population, so 120 split across all the different departments. The 2 biggest departments we have are public works and parks. And I'll say it this way, it's obvious that those are our 2 biggest departments because they're the ones that do the most forward-facing work, either through senior programs, student after-school programs, and then also public works. They try to keep our streets safe and open, things here. So that's 120 full-time employees. In the summertime, our total number swells because we do have a lot of temporary folk in parks, and also a few in public works. But our parks program really swells because we have a lot of after-school programs. Summer camps. You want to talk a little bit about this?
Just basically what you said. Summer, we have a high amount of temporary staff that come in. We currently running our summer camp program in-house for day camp, basically elementary age
kids, and then we have a teen camp as well. And then depending on the grant, we may be running our Outdoor Explorers program too, which is free for students, Highline School students. Yeah. So yeah, that number goes up a lot, and then we'll go back down come school time when we do regular after-school program like that.
Bit of a humorous thing internally. Yes, our numbers, it doesn't quite double, but we do have a lot of folks that come in that work for Parks and also Public Works as temporary. We had, up until recently, one person in human resources that did the onboarding for dozens of people. And it's just like yanking her hair out because one person does the onboarding for all of these folks. We were recently, because of all the restructuring that we've been able to do, have been finding efficiencies and recapturing some of those funds, and now have a second person working in human resources. But to think that we have 120 folk plus at least several dozen that come in over the summer, and those are all managed by 2 human resources personnel, I mean, it is just enough to yank your hair out. So if you see our human resources folk, or if you find their names on the website, please send them kudos. Just a thank you goes a long way. Okay, so that's kind of the breakdown of where we are citywide. Here is, we start with Fire Chief, with Fire Department. Fire Chief Jason Gay is almost a year into his role as Chief. Chief City of Burien contracts with King County Fire District Number 2 for fire service. So they are a part of a special district that covers us and a few other areas, but they have a station here in Burien. They put out fires, they give medical aid and make sure buildings are safe. They also help with different types of code enforcement, specifically on fire and that type of permitting. They work with the city to respond to emergencies like earthquakes, floods. Our Emergency Operations Center is based at the King County Fire District office, so we work with them very closely. And then they also provide safety information to the local community. Chief Mars, who was Chief Gay's predecessor, was great, attended all of our meetings, a part of our leadership team group. Chief Gay's tradition is continuing with that tradition and has become very engaged, participating with the coffee chats that we just had recently, and then also is very vocal about wanting to do more with the city. So we're becoming very, very close with our operations with fire. Police department, we have Chief Calabrese, Tom Calabrese. He's less than a year into his role, but is just fit like a hand in glove. He was our captain for over a year before he transitioned to chief. Also working very closely with us in the different departments. We contracted the King County Sheriff's Office for police service in King County, and also I believe throughout Washington. There is a model that allows county deputies to brand specifically to the city for which they're serving, and so that's why we have the Burien Police Department that's staffed by the King County Sheriff's Office. So the Burien Police Department as an entity itself does not exist. It's just a branding that we have, that we operate our officers. They protect the public, they enforce laws, both city, state, and federal laws. As they relate to state laws, I just want to be very clear that state law is state law, and our sheriff has been very vocal about enforcing state law and working with the cities to enforce municipal law. They work with community groups. They are block captains. They're a group of block captains that the police department here in Burien work with. They represent different parts of the city, and these block captains share information with our police department. They then try to allocate resources as best they can, and then also seek support from the community, essentially asking them, tell us more, if you see something, say something, make use of the non-emergency number, and then also the emergency number. Little known secret, the non-emergency number leads into the emergency number, so it almost doesn't really matter if you dial non-emergency or emergency. It all goes to the same call center. And then they work with us to deal with regional issues. We have what's called mutual aid. If support is needed at White Center, they will go to White Center. If support is needed in SeaTac, they go to SeaTac. In Normandy Park, we all kind of support each other for law enforcement. And then also, additionally, under this, we'll cover it. I'm getting a little ahead of what's here. So here are the numbers. If you need anything to report narcotics, vandalism, graffiti, whatever you need, this is a non-emergency number, and then also 911. Public Works, our director, Rod Seitzer, has been with us now almost a year, and he's been hitting the ground running just like all staff. They're responsible for Burien's roads, sidewalks, traffic signals, you name it. If you're driving on it, if you're walking on it, Public Works addresses the issue. They remove debris, snow. That I want to point to that because we have wind issues in Burien from time to time, and what is not widely known is Public Works is the team that essentially is out at 2-3 in the morning if they get called out if a tree branch is blocking a road, or if a tree has fallen in a way that it could endanger either sidewalks, pedestrians, or cars. Most of us don't see it because we're at home, sound asleep, but we don't have a massive team in Public Works because we're limited in resources. But the folks that we do have are very dedicated to removing branches, keeping the road safe as best we can. So if you see folks from Public Works, please pat the back a good wave. So we appreciate it. They keep the areas free and clear of debris. They work with flooding. They work with our partners with the county. They work with our neighboring jurisdictions because all of our watersheds kind of all work together and stormwater all kind of works together. And this is a number. If you need help from Public Works, there's a telephone number directly to them. And then here is their email address. We have community development. This, as I mentioned earlier, has both planning and building. Our director is Liz Steed. They essentially protect quality and safety and integrity. So I'm not going to read all of them. You can read them as you go along. But really, a big part of their job is to make sure that we're in compliance with state law. As the state passes laws that deal with middle housing, that deal with housing in general, that deal with zoning, they work with our planning commission so that we could actually make those laws as best as possible to work for us. And so it's not just the department and staff make a decision, it's the department and staff work with the advisory body, the planning commission, to make decisions on state law, or if there is no state law, on how we can make something work for Burien. Those members make decisions, they give it back to staff, and then we give it back to the council. So it's kind of a big circle to make sure we have as many voices and touches as possible. And then also within our community development, we have our code enforcement. Code enforcement is a big deal. We're a city, we're an urban area, we have graffiti, we have dumping, we have trash. We, up until recently, again, had one person doing code enforcement for the entire city. And it's very difficult to keep on all of those issues. So this person was very stretched, very thin. Again, through the restructuring, we were able to have one additional person join the team. So now we have 2 people doing code enforcement. But we are a large city. Even 2 people is not enough. And our system is very complaint driven. So we don't have the staff to be driving around looking for problems. So somebody pretty much has to call us. And it's usually a neighbor calling on a neighbor like, hey, this person has this going on. And then we show up. We become the villain because we're there, but really we're responding to a neighbor's concern or somebody in the streets. If you need help from community development, there's a number and the email address that goes to planning. Human Services. Human Services is led by Anya Sapancic. She's our Human Services Manager, right over there. They administer a huge part of the city's human services contracts, not just the ones that we obtain directly, but also ones that we partner with City of Auburn, King County. This is one of those divisions that really covers a lot of money, and it's not specifically all of Burien, but it could be, it looks like it can be through Burien because they manage all the contracts, they work with all the partners. Anya and Sarah, who works with Anya, are very busy, so thank you. Thank you very much. Here are just a few of the things that Anya does. 4 points doesn't cover it all, but we were trying to be as limited as possible as what we could share. That's the telephone number we have for Human Services and also the email address. Please call them if you need any help in those topics. Economic development is also one of our major issues or major divisions. It's led by Chris Craig, right over there. Chris, thank you.
Howdy.
These are a lot of the things that Chris and Lorraine, who works with Chris, do. They work with our business community. They work with our partners on economic development. They work with residents who want to actually come in and they ask questions like, can I open a business here? Can I do this? Can I do that? Chris works with them. Lorraine works with folks that may speak Spanish primarily, so we're able to have that kind of dialogue in different languages. And if we need to, we connect them with our larger chambers. We connect them with some of our local chambers, like Discover Burien or Seattle Southside Chamber of Commerce, or even other groups that exist in our community. So they build relationships, not just in Burien, not just in King County, not just in the state, but nationally, internationally. So we have a lot of that type of activity happening. And then they also work with the Burien Economic Development Partnership to bring recommendations to the city council so that we can make improvements in the city in our business operations overall. So thank you. Moving on to Parks and Recreation. This is led by our director, Casey Stanley, who's been with the city, I'd say on and off now, almost 20 years. 24 years. So shout out to Casey for that. Bit of a side note, we have a lot of same named sharing folk on staff. So Casey, joining us online in the finance department is Casey Money. And Casey Stanley, our parks director, has named herself Casey Fun. So Casey Fun.
Fun Casey.
Fun Casey. Fun Casey. So Parks is busy year round. We never close. States that have more inclement weather, they shut down parks because you have mountains of snow on them. Here we don't ever shut them down. We have very limited staff. We have one of those scenarios where if we had enough staff, everything would be great. But we have to stretch our staff so much that the parks are open every day, Monday through Sunday, and closed every day, Monday through Sunday. So please be patient with us as we work to resolve issues. It's just that we have a limited number of teams that if we had only 3 days to work, we'd be great. We'd have enough people. We have to keep open and operating 7 days a week. So the limited number of people we have, we stretch out so that even they can't keep up with all the work. So they do an excellent job. They operate senior programs, kids programs. They operate the Mosier Arts Center. We operate low-cost classes as much as we can. We apply for grants. We manage grants for our partners. We work with King County on a number of different issues we have. Very specifically, they manage 28 parks and trails and several facilities in Burien. So that's a lot of stuff that they do with limited personnel, in addition to special events and programs. So thank you. Thank you both very much. Anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, just to touch on what Adolfo was talking about, how we have 12 full-time maintenance staff people that do our parks. 2 of them are facilities maintenance guys. And so, we have 420 acres of parkland in the city that we try to manage with just 10 parks maintenance workers. So, as you can imagine, they're quite the task, and they do a very good job with what the resources they have. So, just keep that in line around the parks. You can see how good they're looking with that few staff.
And you can meet some of them and read their stories in the Burien
Yes.
magazine that's out there
Well,
and
There's a nice
online.
feature in there on parks.
Out yesterday, earlier this week, so please take one if you haven't got one at home already. We have our legal department. Our in-house city attorney, Garmin Newsom II, leads the team. We also have an assistant city manager and a paralegal on staff. All do excellent work. They manage and litigate issues for the city. They also provide legal guidance to staff and the council. They draft laws for all departments. So if we're creating an ordinance, all departments send their material to the legal department. They review the drafts of the ordinances before they get to council. They also oversee compliance on a number of different programs, as you can see here. They also manage the city's insurance coverage under WCIA. They cannot give legal guidance to residents. We have folks who call the city regularly to say, I want to talk to the city attorney. They're my attorney because I live here, and I want legal advice. Well, we cannot. So if you do see our legal department and you want to joke with them, please tell them that and tell them I told to tell them that.
Does Garmin our one attorney?
No, we have 2. We have Jabu Jagana. She's our assistant city attorney. And she joined the team less than a year ago. So up until recently, we only ever operated with one city attorney.
Yeah. You know how long Garmin's been, right?
At least 6 years now. Yeah, go the 6 years. Just before, I believe, pandemic commenced. So it was a welcome, shutting everything down, operating on the line. So he's been with us almost 6 years now. I would like to stress one thing. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. Would like to stress one thing, that there's a common theme, is we've operated on one. We've operated on one. We've operated on one. And only very recently have we been transitioning that 1 to 2. So we appreciate that folks in our community have been patient with just us catching up with things, but up until recently we've been operating with one person in many positions, which makes it really hard to to continue running. So that's our legal division. They also manage our contracts for public defense and then also prosecution for city-specific issues and city-specific courts. So this is not all the points that they do, or that legal department does for the sim. Now, code enforcement, we briefly touched on it, falls under the Community Development Department. It is led by Michael Amaya. He's our code enforcement officer, and we also now have Khan Du, who works for us in code enforcement. They deal with issues related to junk vehicles, residential parking on private property, graffiti, pretty much everything that anyone sees that looks out of the ordinary falls under code enforcement. They also deal with zoning and land use violations, constructions without permits. A lot of these are complaint driven. People see their neighbors constructing something, they don't see that signs have been put up, with permit pending. So Michael and his colleague are kept very busy. This is what they do. And if anyone wants to report anything, they have that direct telephone number and they can report directly to Michael. We also have a page on the city website for filing a complaint. People can file complaints anonymously. One of the challenges we do see regularly is that people will say there is trash dumped on 152nd, and that's pretty much it. And we'll say, well, we're on 152nd. And sometimes Michael and his colleagues will go out and they'll look and they'll find trash that was dumped, and then we will resolve it. A week or two later, we will get an email saying, I reported this, I never got my response, you never fixed the problem. And then we find out that they meant not 152nd and 5th Avenue, but they meant 152nd and 22nd. And so we try as much as possible to ask people to give us details, give us an address, give us a location, give us an intersection, because we don't know. We don't know specifically what they're referring to. So that's one of the challenges of the many that Michael has to do with.
I think, and hopefully I'm not too forward in saying this, but I might be able to preview that staff are currently working on a brand new system for reporting issues that will make it much easier, maybe what folks are more familiar with in other jurisdictions, that will hopefully kind of close that gap between the knowing and not knowing.
Yeah. That's the hook we have for stay tuned to the next episode, right?
Right.
We're still working on that, so we don't want to give too much away, but that's excellent. Devin makes an excellent point. We're trying to make it easier for people. Next, we have our finance department. They do a whole lot. They manage our accounts payable. They manage the budget for the city. They work with department directors on letting them know, yes, this is how much you spent. This is how much you still have available. This is how funding can be moved from buckets to buckets. This is how much grant money we're capturing. This is how much grant money you've spent. This is a very heavy comforting division. They have to comfort us to say, we know you want to do it, but there's not enough money. This is also very numbers driven, and they try to really help us out as much as possible. So there are a lot of things to cover here. I'll let you all read them, so I won't go through all of them, but it's very dependent on the budget, and we rely on our finance department. So little thing that I mentioned to the finance team yesterday, every staff member does excellent work for the city, but we all can't do the excellent work for the city unless we pay the bills, unless we have the money to be able to pay for services. So this is one of the very first contacts that everyone has that they don't know they have, because we have to make sure we have the money available to pay for everything. And Casey's online. Casey, did you want to share anything about the division or the department?
Sure. Our finance team has been working really hard on increasing our ability to provide more transparent information on our website and making things easier and working directly with departments so that we can monitor budgets and help with looking for creative ways to use the funds that we do have. So they go underappreciated sometimes because they're the quiet ones hiding behind their little computers, but we have a fantastic team. So, and they're very excited to be here and to work with, we've been working on some great projects with the city to make things more efficient and easier access for people.
Thanks, Casey. Any questions? Good. We'll tell you that we don't have enough money. So. We are working on something that we can't really speak too much about, but we do always ask residents for help. We ask them to help us as much as possible. We will continue to ask residents for help, just like we've seen the county asks for help through special ballots, special elections. But the only thing we can do is ask, and we could prove to our residents that we are doing what we can with the limited resources, but we can ask them, and if they authorize it, we will have more. So, more on that to come.
Also a story in Burien magazine issue, if folks want to dive a little deeper into the budget with a few more charts, graphs, and photos. Definitely pick up a copy of that too. I'm sorry, I've got a pitch.
No, it's great. It's great. Yeah, it's a good pitch. Administrative services. This is one of our departments that has a lot under it. It is led by Fernando Lamas Jr. He's our administrative services director. Fernando has been with us now 15 years, something along those lines, and he's grown with the city. He's been held in different positions. The last position he held was manager of the Information Systems Division, and is now director of administrative services. So he has seen it all. Not quite as tenured as some of our other employees. We have some mid-20s. We have some high 20s. We also have several that are in the low 30s and are our first and almost second city employees for when the city actually became a city. So we've got a lot of long-term cover. Administrative services, again, oversees the clerks, communications and public engagement, IS and human services. They focus on operations. They essentially manage a lot of the city's contracts. If there's a contract that the city has to enter into and it's not specific to a department like a rec contract or a finance contract, it will fall into the very broad bucket for administrative services. They are our I dotters and our T crossers in many ways. So they do a lot of really good work with not enough people. And then our city clerk, as you've all seen, our city clerk do excellent work during council meetings. Our city clerk just does not just come in for council meetings. That's not just her job or the deputy city clerk's job. They essentially keep us compliant with our public records process, with our just public records in general. Any document that is created by the city is a public record, and it could be susceptible to public record requests and public record sunshine laws, and so that falls under our clerk's division, and that is an incredible task. Let me tell you, it changes regularly. We have to make sure we're compliant with codes, and so they do masterful work in making sure that we are in compliance. So kudos to the clerk's division for just keeping us on task, and then also kudos to them for keeping council meetings moving. They do a great job in managing public comments. So. But if anybody needs to reach them, here's the telephone number and then also an email address for the clerk. Information services, they manage all of our technology. They make sure that our systems are healthy. They keep us compliant with all the new programs and services that we need to have. We also have cybersecurity be a huge component of our operation. As we've seen just locally, several of our partners have been hacked, they've been hit, and we are attacked regularly, not just Burien, but every city is. So they do masterful work. They've had to come in overnights and weekends to make sure that things are not hacked. So a lot of the work that they do is behind the scenes, but they do excellent work. And our IS manager, Scott Roberts, he's been with us now almost a year, so he's doing good work on the division. And then comes communications. We haven't heard from communications recently, so we have Devin back in the room. Devin is our communications public engagements manager. Devin and her team, and I use the term very loosely. Devin works with Manuel Hernandez, who is our public or comm specialist. Those two folk share as much news as we can with the community, with you all, if you're registered with our social media accounts, with press releases, with everything that we send out. It touches comms. So they do a whole lot of work. They also publish the Burien magazine, which is just amazing at relaying information to the community about projects that we're doing, projects that we're focused on, things that the council has done. So thank you, Kevin, very much. I appreciate it. Anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think continuing the theme of, you've probably heard, it's always like one person, one other person, and we're all very small teams. And one of the great things about the communications division is we get to serve all of our different team members and work very closely with everybody. So we also, with the public engagement part, I really want to stress that, we are very much an external facing team. So we work with the community. We always want to build more partnerships and get out there and see folks when we're doing community events. And so I'm really excited to see you all here today, and I hope to keep seeing you all.
And these are just a few of the ways in which communications keeps connected with folk. We had the Shape Your City initiative, as we discussed briefly, on how we collected information from our residents. You can see that through the city website and everything related to the city on the city website. We also produce and make sure that the Burien magazine gets out to all city residents. And that is not an easy project. That is a very heavy lift, as you will all see if you take a copy or if you receive one at home. And then also the Community Hub. The Community Hub is fairly new, within the last, I think 2 years, maybe?
2.5, 3 years.
Yeah, about the last 2 years, where we created this whole other page that really helps to bring things into buckets. You can also get to the Community Hub through our website, but the Community Hub is a place where people can go and say, okay, there are pictures, I want engagement that we've had. I want more information on this. It's easier to use. There are buckets with photos to make it easier for people to get their information. And it also provides updates for the direction that council has given to staff, so that it shows, especially with our strategic plan, the progress that we've made. It gives you the percentage of the progress where we are. We've gotten started, we've not gotten started, we've completed. All of that falls within the Community Hub. So all of that is done by communications. Also working with our department directors. So there's a lot of touching hands and a lot of communicating with the team. So feel free to register for all of our social media sites. You can see them on our website right up here. You can log in and register. And here they are: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or no, X, I guess now it's called X. And then also we're on LinkedIn. So feel free to connect. But I'll leave it there for a few seconds.
Note that the city runs some pages, and also our parks team runs some pages as well, and our econ page runs some pages. So if there are specific things you're interested in, you can kind of tailor your social media to that. The City of Burien channels, though, will be your most general channels for general city news.
What, TikTok?
No, thank you.
Nobody wants
I
to
guess
see
don't
the
want to
staff
use
doing
it.
Yeah. Shows my age. Up until like 3 years ago, I had no idea what TikTok was. I don't know what it is, but kids are older using it. And here's just a few other ways how we can subscribe to information to get information. And that's it. That brings us to the end. Any questions? Any thoughts?
Yeah, is there anyone in the room who can tell us about interesting stories we might find in the Burien magazine?
All of these people kind of means I have to talk their ear off or interview them, yes.
It doesn't have to be a question. It can be statements if there are any to be made. I know we just threw a lot of information at you and also to the patrons of the B-Town blog. So those that are looking at this through the camera, reach out to us through email, telephone. Those that are in the room, also reach out to us through telephone, email. We try to respond as quickly as possible, but sometimes we get a lot of messages and it makes it a little difficult.
I have a question, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Time commitment for a city council member. What is it?
Oh, that one depends. I'll be honest, that really depends. Not speaking specifically about Burien, and we've all had different councils, not just here, but in different cities and different states. It really depends. It could be a person who decides they want to do it, they get enough votes, and they literally just go to one meeting for a council meeting, and they do nothing else. So it could take 2 hours to be at a meeting, and that's it. It could be as easy as just going to a meeting. If they go to the meetings. Now, some cities will say, you haven't been coming, they're pretty lenient, they won't remove a council member that doesn't show up. So I say that there's typically a minimum of like 2 hours because a council member per month, because a council member can go to a meeting and literally just sit there and do nothing. But it could also be a second 60-hour-a-week job for them. If they want to be as engaged as they want to be, they meet with their constituents, They attend regional group meetings because there's some regional groups that are specifically for council members so they can work with other elected officials. So, you know, I will say it could range from 1 hour a month to 60, 70 hours a month. So yeah, it really depends on the person and how engaged they want to become.
And there's no stipend, correct? This is a volunteer position?
There is a stipend, yeah, there is a $700 a month stipend, and then there are also other little things. So $700 a month is a stipend that we provide council members. And then also, because we know and understand that council members use their Wi-Fi at home, use their internet at home, we also help with their internet payment. And that all has to be cleared by finance and clear our audit, so it's not I've got the platinum package that includes cable television and all this. No, it has to go through our audit process for basic internet only. But when you think about it, $700 a month, I'm not saying it's not a lot, it is a lot. It really, it depends on the person and their place in life. But $700 does go a long way, but when you start thinking about it per hour spent on an issue, per hour spent every month. Some council members spend 60 hours a week working on council-related issues. So it really translates to like $1 an hour, you know, depending on how much they want to put into it.
I was looking at, do I understand correctly, the mayor and the deputy mayor are elected city council members?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. All council members elected by the voters. We don't have special districts where only one area of the city votes for a person. They're all voted on by everyone in the city. And once the council is set every January they select their own deputy mayor because the deputy mayor is chosen every year. And every 2 years, the council decides whom they want to have serve as their spokesperson, their leader, and then they elect a mayor every 2 years.
For you or staff, what's one thing you'd like potential council members to know about your work, either a challenge or something you really like that it's good for us to know?
I was thinking about this, and I feel like kind of the theme that I've been hearing is it would be great if we had this program or this program. A lot of times, folks don't know that we even exist, that the Burien Community Center is right down the road, that we do have this senior program, that we do have this after-school program. So if you know about them, please help spread the word. That's, I think, one of the bigger challenges that we have is it would be nice that we have this, and we do, just, you know, like reach out and look into it, that sort of thing. So marketing, promoting, and that sort of thing.
And for economic development, I'll just add that you know, I see Burien as 50,000+ economic developers. You know, it's not just 2 people in the city. We really want to empower community to all be a piece of that. They're all ambassadors for Burien as far as, you know, bringing in businesses and visitors. They're all future entrepreneurs or business owners or participants in the creative economy. So for us, this is really a team sport, and we love to work with community on these things. And then also the other elements of economic development that are really important are some of our other important partners, like the school district, right? Like parks. The same reason you all want to live in Burien, parks, the school district, you know, the wonderful businesses we have, all of our nonprofits. It's really a team sport where we're all working together to elevate economic development. And so we're always interested in ideas, and specifically, you know, council members can show a lot of leadership around that in what they're hearing from their residents. And that, you know, that I think that communication works both ways. We elevate issues and educate council members on things that are going on in the community, and they provide their feedback to us about what they're hearing from their constituents about the needs. And I think that's an important positive relationship to have between council and the staff.
If we can keep pitching that ambassadorship piece to it, I would say absolutely for communications as well. We would love for everybody to be connected to our channels, to be ambassadors for getting more people connected. And we do that not just so that people can, you know, itch the scratch of curiosity about what the city's doing, or what are we up to, but oftentimes it's extends into other areas like life safety and emergency management. And the more people we have connected and are getting the messages about, preparation, are getting the emergency alerts, are getting finding out how to access services in their language, the more that we can get people to the right places, the better we can do our jobs, the better we can serve the community. So the more that folks can go out there and be like, hey, did you subscribe? I see you're on Facebook. I'm going to invite you to the page. Or did you know the city has an email list? Oh, I know you're interested in this. On the community hub, they have this project that, you live in that neighborhood. Did you know they're redesigning the playground in that neighborhood? You can go to this page. You can learn all about it. You can do a survey and say what design you like. All of that is possible when we get more people connected and seeing what's coming out from the city. And always reach out to communications@burienlaw.gov if you have questions about our different platforms, how to subscribe. Happy to help connect people.
I think one of the things I would add is that the team does a lot of excellent work. And I think we are always up against the challenge of how do we tell people that this excellent work is happening? How do we tell people that these great services are available to them? It'd be great if we had, a robocall and everybody gets a call every day, or everybody gets a text message, or we can mail everybody about all the programs. All of that costs a lot of money, and we're unable to do it. So we have the program. Many times we promote as best we can. Many times we promote over and over and over again because we know that that's how information gets out. But also when we have tabling, like we had tabling yesterday, and sometimes in other farmers markets, we have information out, and many times people will come up with their children and say, oh, I didn't know you had that park program, or I didn't know you did this for emergency management, or that I could serve on this committee. And that's why we do those things, because we don't know who has or has not heard the information. So yeah, as much as you can, if you have a network of your own, we'd like to ask you to convey the information. And then one last note from us is a big part of our job is to make council members successful, because we know that they're elected by the people to represent the city and their supporters. We have the concept that we all work for the council body, so we can't just receive a call from one council member that says, I want this done, get it done. That's not the system we operate in. We cannot do that. But the process that we do have is if a council member has an interest in something, we're always here to educate, we're always here to enlighten, we're always here to meet with them. And there may be times when we're already doing it, and they just don't know that we're doing it. Or they may not know other things about that specific issue. And so we try to give them the information. They can then take the information and do with it what they would like, meet with other people if they want to. But our goal is to provide them with the information they need. We give them tours of parks, we give them tours of different facilities. At the very least, we keep the information flowing, and then we try to have a dialogue with council. Yeah, appreciate it.